Hey everyone, it's Tammy at Frou-frou Studio. Guess what day it is? Nope, not Wednesday. It is, I saw it on Pinterest Day. And today I want to make a version of this cute little, this is actually a card, I think, like a greeting card or something. But I want to make it a double pocket to use in my Marie Antoinette journal, which I will show you what that looks like in just a second. But it is pinned by, and I know I'm going to destroy this, but it's Sadia Shake, I believe. It may be Shot. It's Shaikh. And unfortunately, I know nothing about what I assume is Arabic or something along that line. And I have no idea how to pronounce it, and I'm so sorry. But it does not have a reference, and if I go to the more, you can see several versions of a corset style pocket, which basically, you know, this is, but I don't see another reference to this one in particular, so I'm assuming she uploaded it herself. And she's got a Jane Austen quote here, which is pretty cute with the card. So this is what we're gonna do in Sadia. I apologize if you happen to see this or have been watching that I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but your card is beautiful, and I am going to try to recreate it for my journal. So I'm going to move this off to the side, and I don't think I'll need to reference it anymore, simply because I made a prototype so that I would know how to cut my pieces, and I will show that to you. I just cut it out of white cardstock and kind of laid everything out so that I would know how I wanted to not only put it together, but you know, check my gap here, check where I wanted these, and so this is what I came up with. My base piece, now of course you can adjust this to whatever size you want. If you need it to be bigger or longer or however you want to do it. This is just mine that I came up with. So this piece is 5 inches long, and it is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to write that on here, and that way I can put it in my little templates. Okay, so that piece is 3.5 by 5.5. These pieces, what I did is I just kind of drew one on a piece of paper and got it to be the size that I wanted it, and then I just traced two so that they could be opposite. So this piece, you want to start out with it being about 1 3/4. So it's 1 3/4 by, of course, 5 inches. Okay. And then this is 1/4 inch. Okay. So you want to score at 1/4 inch. So it's about 1 3/4 by 5. Scored at 1/4 inch. And then do the same thing, but opposite. All right. And then now I used my little crocodile, little hole on the crocodile and made my 4 holes. And I just kind of evenly spaced. And I tried to keep most of those in just the straight part, because we're going to take the lace and run it around from the top to the bottom like that. Okay? Alright, so that is really all the pieces that you want. Now, I feel like that you want to use something that is either a scrapbook paper that is a cardstock weight, or you want to use regular scrapbook, you know, the thinner scrapbook paper that you've backed. Because I think if you do it just out of regular thin scrapbook paper or digital, that it's not going to be stiff enough, because my plan is to not use the grommets, so I need my holes to be strong enough to hold the ribbon. And the reason I'm choosing not to use the grommets is I want it to be a little softer than what it would be with the grommets, and you know, I don't want to use up 8 grommets to do that. So, because I'm going to try and make 2 of them. Okay? Now, if you were doing something steampunk, grommets would look awesome. And you could do, you know, more steampunk looking covers, maybe put leather, little leather, pieces through here instead of ribbon. I mean, you could do a lot of things with this, but for this particular one, I kind of want it to have that really expensive, soft kind of look to it. Royal look, I guess I'm saying. Okay, this is my journal, so this is what we have to work with. This is a Reader's Digest book that I covered with some decoupage paper, and I'm using 2 kits. I'm using the Walls of Versailles kit by Ambry Design and Co. on Etsy, and I'm using the Marie Antoinette kit by Medieval Mirage. Okay, so this pocket I've already created. I did this one off camera because I had a lot of drying time on this one. It has a large journal card in here with some bling on it and some velvet ribbon. And then this piece is in the Marie Antoinette kit. And I cut it out. I added the pearls here. And I put glossy accents on here. So this is washi tape, and this is just a cellophane bag, and it's got some dried hydrangea petals in it from my hydrangeas in my yard. So that's how it's sealed up on all edges, so it's not a pocket or anything like that. I just wanted something that would show the hydrangea petals, and that's why I made it a pocket behind. But I thought that came out really cute. The other thing that I did is I added some trims. Like you can see, I put this piece of trim here and in the back, and then every other page I used this kind of silky looking trim. I got this trim in Germany at a flea market. I got several, and I think they're supposed to be like upholstery trims, or maybe trims for curtains. But they came on these big skeins like this, and these were €1 a piece. So I grabbed quite a few of them. They have 43 meters on them. This one's 25 meters. Oh, this one's 13. 13 meters and 25 meters for €1. So you can see there's quite a lot on there, and I've used quite a bit. And like I said, I think I got 4 or 5 of these all together. This is another one that I got. I only have the ones pulled out that I thought would go in this journal, but I got this one as well, and it's got kind of a bluish green color, so I thought this would go. I haven't used it anywhere yet, but so yeah, that's where I got those. So I can't give you a local place for those because there was just one place in the flea market that had the tables and tables and tables. It would have taken me hours to go through all the different ones that they had. Excuse me. So, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. I know it's coming. So, when I do, I apologize. Not only am I going through the seasonal change that I was telling you all about the other day where, you know, it messes up my sinuses. The guy is cutting the field behind us, so I'm being doubly cursed right now. All right. So, and what I was going to tell you is I put the trim on every other page on the edges, and I love the way that looks. I think that looks so cool on the edges, and I think the sheen of this piece matches the sheen of this. It looks like I lost a pearl right there. I'll have to get another one and glue it on. So yeah, so that's where we stand in the, like I said, I didn't attach this anyway except by this washi tape. Because I wanted you to be able to shake those little petals around. So that's all I've done. I did install our little double pocket we made the other day, or I haven't installed it, but I have figured out where I want to put it, and I'm going to put it here when I glue it in. So I think that's the only other thing that I've done. So I got to get busy on some ephemera. So that's what we're going to do. I couldn't decide if I wanted to make one of these in pink or if I wanted to make one in purple. So we're going to make one of each and decide which one we like the best, or we may use them both. So the first thing I need to do is get my pieces cut so that we can get everything put together. So for this one, I have this scrap of paper, and this is going to be the back. So this is the one I want 3.5 by 5. So we're going to cut this 3.5, and then we're going to cut it by 5. Get it straight. Okay, put that in my scrap bin, and then this one is 1 3/4 by 5, so we want 2 pieces that are 1 3/4. One and 3/4. I think that should be about right there. I can never measure on this stupid thing because, see, that says, did I say 1 3/4? Oh yeah, because it's got the little flap on it. That's my issue. Okay, let me fold out the flap. Okay, so we want it here. And then we want another piece that's the same. Okay, and then we will it's a little bit wide. But that's okay, because I'm going to hold this template on there anyway. Alright, so we're just going to cut around this. And if you don't feel comfortable holding that by hand and doing it, you can always use a paper clip to hold it in place for you while you're cutting it. And don't forget, when you're cutting these, you want one to go one way and one to go the other way. So be sure and keep that in mind when you're cutting your pieces. Especially if you're using a pattern paper that matters. This one doesn't matter too much, but you know, if you are using something that has a direction to it, you want to be sure that you're doing them opposite each other so it doesn't look weird. Cut this one, and like I said, I just freehanded this little rounded part at the top. I assume you could use a circle template and figure it out more exactly if you wanted to. So there's my 2 pieces, and Tammy, that's totally on the wrong side. Okay, so then when I put it together after I score it, it's going to look like that right there. Okay, so that's going to be our corset shape. So let's take out the scoreboard here. Sorry, I don't have a small one, so I gotta get the big boy out. I need to get a small one, and I want to score it right here. And right here. Now, I'm assuming if you wanted to, you could make a template and make this all one piece. What I mean by that is you could get, like if you had a nice double-sided paper that you wanted to use, you could, you know, make your template, like ignore the little flap around the back, but you can make your template in this kind of shape out of all one piece, and then just score along these 2 lines and fold it in. But my papers that I'm using are only one-sided, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so now that we have that, we want to poke our holes. So I'm going to place this one wrong side on here. Just like that. Line it up. Again, it doesn't have to be exact with your template. And I'm going to make a little pinch mark where my holes are. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this piece, not that piece, this piece, which is our other side, and flip it over. And that way I can poke both of them at the same time, and I know they're going to be in the same place. Get my crocodile. And again, if you want to use grommets, the hole's plugged up, I can't see it. If you want to use grommets, then feel free to do so. It's still got something in there. Get out of there. There we go. I hate when it does that. Again, you could take a paper clip and put those together. It's also a lot easier if you set your guide on your crocodile. Mine's already set from where I did it the first time. That way you know you're going in the same depth on each hole. Alright, get out of there. Okay. Alright, so now we got our holes in both pieces. And they should line up with each other because we were holding them back to back. So now what we can do is we can take and glue our pieces together. Actually, we probably want to put our lace on there first. So let's put our lace on. For this one, I've got this lace, which is way wider than I need it. So if you have a thinner lace, use that. I just didn't have one. So let's do fabric. Here, I'll say that. That's the way I feel about it. And I'm not going to worry about my holes right now. I'm just getting my lace on there. And then we'll worry about if we need to repoke any holes, which I'm assuming I'm going to need to. Alright, so we're going to cut that off. And we're going to cut Now let's do this one. Okay, so there's that side. Move that over just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to cut that straight across. And we're going to cut that at an angle. Now, let's see what we got. So now, when we put this on here, that's what we're looking at. And like I said, if you'd had a not as wide lace, it wouldn't be so bulky, but I don't mind it because I think once the ribbon goes in there, you'll be able to manipulate that ribbon a little bit, or the lace, and get it to lay like you want it. All right, so now let's glue our little flaps on. So this one will go on this side. And I'm not going to worry about gluing the bottom, I don't think, because I think once we get the ribbon in, it'll hold it. We can always go back and glue it if we need to, but I don't think we're going to need to. I do think I'm going to cut that lace straight across. I first thought an angle was going to be better, but I actually think cutting it straight is going to be better. So I'm just going to snip that straight across there. Come on, there. Really? Gotta be that difficult? There we go. I'm going to keep this snip to make like clusters or corner clusters or whatever. All right, wrong top, wrong glue. Where's my pen? Under my scissors. I about need to get another one. I bent this one yesterday, trying to put it back in the bottle. Okay. All right, now I'm not doing real grungy on this, but I do want to ink across right there and across the bottom. Just to kind of define it. Okay, now we're going to lace it up. So I'm going to use this little bitty ribbon and hope that I can get it through my binding needle eye so that it will make it easier for me to feed it through all the holes. Again, if you're using grommets, that may be easier to get it through. I'm not sure. But for me, this is going to be easier. Okay, so I want to put it through the bottom first, I believe. So we're going to pull out what we think is going to be way too much. I've got enough of this to, if I'd rather have way too much and know I can get this laced up. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing over on this other side and get us started. And I'm hoping I remember this right, but I'm pretty sure with 8 holes, 4 on each side, that you want to start on the inside. Ah, come on. Went right in there on the other one. Now it's going to be difficult. There we go. Alright, so want to go through there and so then we want to go here and then here. I'm hoping I'm doing this right. Come on. And then here. Pull it back this way just to make sure I have enough. Okay, and then we want to go here. I want to get them all in there and then I'll make it look pretty. And here. Did I skip one? don't like that. I want them to all be... I want them to all be like that on top. Okay. Alright, so we got on top, on top, on top. We'll get it. Come on. Sorry, I'm quiet. I'm concentrating. Y'all are probably screaming, do it this way. Oh, that one's still underneath, isn't it? Yeah, I definitely like them on top better. Okay. We may not get two of these done because I can't figure this part out. We're gonna get it, guys. You guys probably already have gotten it and are screaming at me. Okay, let's try this again. Thank goodness this is easy to manipulate onto the needle. Okay, so those are both on top. This one is on top. Wrong one. I'm pulling the wrong one. So this one I can't find the hole. Here we go. That one is now on top. And this one. It's now on top, and I am not worried about it finishing underneath. All right, so we have this one. It needs to go here. And then come out here. I did it, guys. I can get this through. Last one, come on. There we go. So there we go. We have our corset finally. And then, like I said, I'm going to push back this lace a little bit. Kind of pull it through the openings. Especially up here at the top. I don't care too much about the bottom. Yeah. Kind of like that. Cute, right? Then I'm going to tie a bow. And I think I might have to rethink it and put glue at the bottom. I'm going to double knot that bow because I feel like it's going to come undone if I don't. Get in there. Let's make the loops a little bigger. So, there we go. All right, and trim that off a little bit. There we go. And then I've got two little journal cards here, or tags, whatever you want to make them into out of the kit. So when I put this in to the journal, one will go behind here as a pocket. And then the other one will go here, like that. And you could decorate this too if you wanted to fancy it up even more. Use garments if that's your choice. Whatever you like. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cute. Let's see how much time it took me to... 45 minutes. I think I'll leave it at that, but I will show you the... This is the purple that I have picked out. and I'll make it off camera, and then I'll show you in another video. But my thought was to use this as the background, this as the 2 pieces, and then for this one, I've got this to use as a tag to go in the front, and this longer one to use as a tag to go in the back. I've got some purple lace, and I've got some purple ribbon. So I'm going to follow the same process, except maybe do it a little quicker than I did this one. I may put a little tack of glue to hold those open a little bit. I don't know. I kind of like that it flows. But again, 3.5 by 5 for your base cards, and 1 3/4 by 5 with a 1/4 inch little flap if you're going to do it in 3 pieces like I did it here. And again, if you do it out of front and double-sided cardstock or scrapbook paper, and you like the patterns on both sides, and they are already coordinating, so you know they're going to match, then you could just make your template, you know, like this, and then fold it over. So I hope you guys like that. Let me know what you think, and if you make one of these, tag me so that I can come see what you've made. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, everybody have a great day. Bye.